Hello and welcome to the Arsenal Agenda. This is the Premier League running show with myself, Alex and George. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the weekend's fixtures. Obviously very similar to the weekend before. We had a 2-2 draw with West Ham. A couple of funny decisions within there as well. But obviously overall on the game, George, what was your thoughts?
Disappointed, mate. To be honest with you, it's a draw that feels like a loss. Let's be honest. We've chucked it away. It's 2-0 up. Do you know what I mean? Cruising again, and it was deja vu from last weekend, really, wasn't it? Suspect penalty. Well, I think it was a suspect penalty anyway, and then we went and missed one. Like we've kind of chucked this away, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't agree we've thrown it away yet. I think we're very close
It's still in our hands, yeah.
To throwing it away is definitely, something. We've made it tough for ourselves. We had an easier run in than we do now, and we now have to win every game or win every game other than the draw with Man City, assuming they win every game. Obviously, I think the general assumption amongst the entire footballing committee, by the looks of it, is that Man City are going to win every single game until the end of the season. So apparently that's a foregone conclusion. And yeah, we have to.
I think they've won like 9 on the bounce or something in all competitions. I mean, all good things got to come to an end.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed for us. But
before Liverpool, I think we'd won 6 on the bounce or something.
I just think they've got the depth over us.
Certainly. I don't believe that they are going to get
3 really good teams. Whereas, let's be honest, we could put 1.5 out. Yeah, I think it's the squad depth that's going to cost us. But I don't think it's ended well, because I still do think like we've overachieved to be where we are at this point in time. Like, so to be in the title hunt is great. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just going to be a little bit disappointing. I just feel like yesterday's game is sort of levels. It reminds me a bit like last year when we played Tottenham and it was in our hands and we lost, and then it was still in our hands, but we just fell apart, and it was almost like the fans even knew we was going to fall apart. So I remember after the Tottenham game, people saying, "Oh, they're going to catch us now." Do you know what I mean? So I think it's important that we try and stick behind the team, because, like you say, it is still in our hands, but it's going to be hard, isn't it? Like we need to do the unthinkable now and go and beat City, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm obviously disappointed to a certain extent. Just like you said, obviously, I would have preferred to have 3 points last weekend. I'd have preferred to have 3 points the weekend before as well. But
I swallowed the draw last weekend, but I don't think I can swallow the draw this weekend. No, I think we bottled it.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the rest of the Premier League, it's a chance to sort of look at that weekend's fixtures and obviously think that the wobble is on. Arsenal are looking shaky at the top, and I think anyone to state anything outside of that is incorrect. But again, every single season, you start out the season with the hope that you're going to compete for something. And at the end of last season, I don't think, maybe we could have stolen FA Cup or something, but to be with a run-in for the Premier League, just got to remember where we are in our process, in our team. Like you said, we're not a full squad yet. We're an amount of time into Edu and Arteta's rebuild of the club, and yeah, we've had a bad couple of weeks, but I don't think this is over yet. I'm gutted. I'm disappointed. I'd have obviously much rather the 3 points. I'm glad we didn't throw the game. I felt at some points throughout that we could have walked away with nothing, and that would have been a bigger issue. We held on, although it was by the skin of our teeth, and I think that now it's a matter of Arteta and the players. I mean, we've got an easier game coming up against Southampton next Friday. I think this Friday we've got them. With a Friday night game, so we get to put pressure on City for a change.
Do you know what that worries me now? Because that's a game, let's be honest, that we should go and tear them apart, win 3-0 easy. But now, off the back of the last 2 games, we've fallen apart. We've let 2-0 lead slip twice.
Right.
Twice. Why can't we finish off games? Because if that was City 2-0 up, they'd go and get 3rd or 4th.
I believe it's because of the fact that we're playing away from home, and being the top of the league, you become hunted. Everybody wants to beat you, wants to do that. Liverpool turned out a performance at Anfield that they've done it once else this season when they beat Man United. West Ham have pulled out probably their performance of the season. Even their own players walked off the pitch, said you lot didn't think we would get anything from it, and neither did we. So they went into it with nothing to lose at home, and they got a goal, like you said, as a penalty that arguably both of them shouldn't have happened. But I think it's just pressure, and yes, they caved. But
I think we're looking burnt out. I mean, yeah. Saka, for instance, I know he missed the penalty, but take away that. I think that was one of the worst games I've seen him play all season.
Yeah,
and Partey.
Yeah, and Odegaard in places.
Poor, man.
Yeah, but obviously,
Odegaard, I know he scored a great game, but we said it ourselves watching it yesterday. Like he just disappeared after the goal. Didn't see him.
I think that was the same of a lot of players. Yeah, I think that was the same as of a lot of players. There was a few that were.
I mean, we were placing a goal. Why did he take Jesus off?
Again, he's changing it up. Last week we complained because he didn't change nothing. This week he probably made too many drastic changes. So, but the thing is when you've got a manager like Mikel Arteta that clearly understands football, that clearly has a way in which he wants to play. One of the things he's probably weak at is changing.
Mm.
So, hopefully he develops over time. He did different today than what he did. Saturday to what he did against Liverpool the week before. So, he is trying new things, and I think in respect to that, we should certainly, keep getting behind the team. Keep believing. 100%. They need positive.
That's something we do need to do, is obviously get behind the team, because I think that's where it went wrong for us last season. Going back to what I was saying earlier about the Tottenham, Newcastle, the last 3 games where we missed out on the top 4. Like I think after the Tottenham loss, I think the fans turned against the team.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
We've got to be careful not to do the same again.
You know what I mean? So I don't think we had. The pressure was on, and Arsenal fans have high expectations.
Yeah.
And when we don't get what we want, sometimes we turn. That's something we can't do, because I think a lot of this overachievement that we have done this season has come down to the new support behind the club and the atmosphere at the Emirates lately.
Yeah.
So we
have very few teams in the Premier League.
It's still in our hands, but I just think we've got it all to do, and we can't afford to slip up.
Yeah. No.
And
certainly.
I think that's the reason I say it's tough, man, is because you'd expect to drop some points somewhere along the line against like a Brighton or a Newcastle. We've got tough games coming up. I feel like that draw yesterday we've wasted the draw that we could have potentially had later on down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I feel like we may have chucked it, because I feel that there's still points to be dropped for us.
Yeah,
and how many will City drop? Because, like I say, I think their squad depth's just there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the general consensus amongst the footballing community is that City won't drop another point. I don't think that's true.
Well, I hope not.
That's my point. So, let's see.
They drop points, but I don't know. I think they're on their little mad end run now.
Let's see. Obviously
they're going to finish how we started, sort of thing. That's how I see it going.
Let's see. But obviously the big factor that came out of the game, that, to be honest, I'm still struggling to get my head round, because when their first penalty shout out came in, I was very much convinced it would be overturned. The handball, George. What was your 2 pence on that? I mean,
so a lot of people saying it wasn't a handball and that it is chest, but I've definitely seen an angle where 100% it hits him on the arm here, like just below the elbow. That's a handball. But I think it's come out since, isn't it? That they can't call it back to that anyway, because it didn't lead to a goal. But it definitely led to a
when
goal
I
scoring
looked,
opportunity, which led to a penalty.
so because I think I got quite a good understanding of how the rules work. So if an attacker hands the ball in the play that directly leads up to a goal, regardless of if it's the fault of the attacker or not, it's handball.
Right.
Yeah. But because it didn't directly lead to a goal, they're stating that it's not handball. But when it directly leads to a shot at goal, because you're having a penalty, I think common sense has got to come into to your mind here. And I don't think this is a misunderstanding or interpreting the rule. I think this is interpreting the rule in the way you want to. And in my
So what you're saying is you can handle the ball, and if you handle the ball, think, oh well, I won't shoot because they disallowed the goal, so I'm just going to dive in the box and take the penalty.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So what you're basically saying that if he shot after handling the ball and it went in the goal, it wouldn't have been a goal. But because he went down for a foul, it's a goal. So when you're outside the box and your mate's in there, just punch it into him.
Yeah.
I thought it was football, not handball. But that's my 2 pence on it all. And I think the whole thing's a bloody joke. And I'm glad that VAR is now within the sporting community, as much as I hate it, because what it's outlining is the incompetence of our refs that we've had for years. Yes, I believe refs do need a certain amount of support, but also there's a certain amount of expectation we should all have on them and to do their job correctly. There's far too many mistakes. It's week in, week out, and the rule book needs to be clearer for them. Granted, but it's not good enough in my opinion. So, moving on from that, George, we have a big game on Friday night with the first game of the weekend. At home, again, after 2 away games, and probably the game we most needed, bottom of the league. Well, I don't think they are anymore, actually, but they're certainly thereabouts. Southampton, 8 o'clock, Friday night. What's your thoughts on that? Are you feeling slightly confident, or are you still nervous after 2 draws?
Well, before yesterday, I would have said, like I said earlier in the video, that's one we should go and turn them over 3-0. But now, off the back of the last couple of games, we're not seeing games out, and we're leaking goals. I worry. That's the sort of game that I think we lost to them last year. I think that was one of the games that you could argue maybe cost us top 4. Didn't we have a run of games just before, not at the end of the season, but somewhere like in the middle, where we lost back to back, like Brighton, Palace, and Southampton?
Yeah.
Games you should be winning. Do you know what I mean? And we missed out on top 4 by like a couple of points. So you win one of them games, we'd have been in Champions League this year because we'd have had top 4 last year. I don't know, mate. Now I think the pressure is getting the better of them now, and I think they're looking a little bit burnt out. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping that we're going to bounce back. We have to bounce back. If anything less than a win Friday, that is the title gone.
Yeah. But see, I'm convinced. Easy win. I'd like to think that we can do that. It's at home. I think at home we're a better team. We have the fans behind us, which will give the players a little bit of confidence going forward. To keep pushing. Don't turn. The Emirates won't let these players play for 30 minutes. They won't. Not with the noise that's coming out of the Emirates this season. They will not have it. They will drive the players forward. I believe these will be points for us. 3 points, comfortable on the board. Roll on the week after. So I think we need to change from this. Obviously, doom and gloom we're in now. I do hope that we get a positive result at the weekend, and I think we will. And then I think that sort of spurs us on going forward. We've had our wobble now. We put it behind us. We draw a line and we move forward. And I think that's what I'd be telling the team. It was 2 tough games: Liverpool away, West Ham away. 2 tough stadiums to go to. Be it what I know West Ham haven't been on finest form this season, but it's still a big game, and obviously it being a derby as well. So it's a big one, and unfortunately we didn't do what we needed to. But moving forward, I think we'll get a nice easy 3 points against Southampton. Hopefully get 2 or 3 goals in there. Go on.
Yeah. No, it's fingers crossed.
Yeah, all right, fingers crossed. Sorry, I thought you put your arm up, so you want to say something.
No. Fingers crossed.
Nice. Well, George, anything else you want to add, mate, or are you done?
I'm kind of done,
Yeah,
mate.
nice.
It's just a little bit disappointed, isn't it? You know, it's
I think we all
miserable Mondays now.
Yeah, I think we all are. I think
2 weeks on the bounce, deja vu.
yeah, there's a lot of miserable Arsenal fans out there today that are licking their wounds. But hey, keep up the positive mindset. We'll be back next week. We'll be back obviously Friday to put this right, and I believe we will. And then obviously, pressure then moves away from us as we get our points earlier on in the weekend, and hopefully, City can struggle later on that week. But we'll see. But yeah, thank you very much again for your time, George, this week. We'll be back again next Monday. Sorry we were a bit late this Monday. We had a bit of a hold up our end, so we'll get that video out at the normal 10 a.m. time slot next Monday. Yeah, thanks again for listening. Please like, subscribe, click the bell notification below so you can be let know next time we produce a video. Thanks again.